Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back, folks. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. Sorry, stupid tag on the shirt. It's driving me nuts back there. Let's check the sound after the software update last night. Back there. Let's check the sound after the software. Okay, it's working. Excellent. So, Danica, let me address that at the beginning. Okay, I told you this previously. I don't know if you left the stream, you weren't listening, you didn't understand. You don't have to pay to watch the content. I know most of my viewers are poor, don't have resources. Therefore, I don't charge for the content. People who subscribe have a little bit more money, are willing to help, which helps defray some of the cost of doing this. And if you think this is free to do, like I sit, not you, but people think you sit in a room and eat Cheetos and just, get in front of a computer. It isn't that simple. I've spent well over $60,000 doing production on this channel the past 6 years as a hobby, as something to inform the world. Those who contribute money help defray that cost a little bit. So thank you. That's what membership's all about. Long ago, I mean, we've tried this thing a couple times of, members only sort of things, but members only don't come. People aren't paying for the channel because they want access to content. By and large, they're paying. Those who have memberships, they're paying because they want the emojis, they want the longevity badge, they want to be part of a community, and they want to support the program. So you don't have to pay. But just be a subscriber. That's all I've ever asked anybody to do, is become a subscriber. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, you feel bad you can't support? Yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for your genuine concern, though. It's not. It's okay. Thank you. It's like super chats. I'd love to have lots more super chats. Lots more super chats. But I discourage people from sending me money all the time. But I will encourage you to send money to these guys. Let me find where it's at. I got it here somewhere. Where's that thing at? It didn't disappear on me, did it? I guess it did disappear on me. I lost my open tabs somehow. How did that happen? Well, that sucks. Unless it's here. No, it's not. Let me see if I can find it in the history. Well, that's crazy. I had this thing. Let me see. History. Where is that at? Well, it's today. I need match history. I need yesterday. Yesterday. There we go. Yesterday. Oh, where's it at here? Looking. Boy, a lot of websites I visit during the day doing this stuff. I don't see it here. Crazy. That was before that. I'm trying to find this back a buddy thing that I had found yesterday. It's not showing up here. Wow. Wow. Guess because I'm looking for it, that's why I can't find it. Let me just search this way. Back a buddy. Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. There you go. Okay, so this is what you can do if you want to help. It's been several days since they got any help here. Let's see what we can't do for them. These are the ladies that are, going out and helping people in rural communities, and they're looking to raise money. We had some help from folks, if people can help out here. That's not the one I want. Sorry. This is the one I want here. So this is it. Yeah, they're trying to raise $80,000. They started the campaign 4 months ago, but they're not really getting anywhere right now. We had a few folks from the program here contribute back on the 5th when I showed this. I did as well. I put $60 in, so that was 1,000 rand. And then Matki's was before that. So we had a few. So if you can help out with this, that's something that's worthwhile. Okay, the aunties bring wope. Special initiative born out of deep calling to support women in the farming communities. It's a ministry of hope and encouragement. where we reach out with a little soul food to those who need it most. They're going to all these towns starting June 21st, just 11 days. And they could sure use some funds here. Otherwise, I mean, they're obviously taking this out of their pocket to help all these people. And if you can help them, that would be great. Here, let me just put that link in there again. It didn't result in much. We've had much more successful fundraising efforts for people. So there you go. Oh, what is with this stupid studio? YouTube never works anymore. All right, that's pinned out the top. Time for the news. All right, let's get on to the news. Well, that's not the news. Where's the news? There's the news. Massacre in Johannesburg, in Cleveland. Oh, my goodness, folks. The mass shootings in South Africa continue unabated. The gangsters are running the country. Daily Maverick reports an hour of terror. A heavily armed gang of 10 suspects opened fire indiscriminately inside a gated informal settlement. You know, you had gated informal settlements. As Gauteng police launch a massive manhunt, traumatized residents recount an hour of terror amid suspected ties to illegal mining. Are Zamas responsible for this? Speaking to the Daily Maverick at the scene of what now has been classified as a mass shooting, Jumpers resident Gugu Makwaha said the gunfire rang out for more than an hour before an eerie quiet fell over the settlement. The latest mass shooting resulted in the death of 12 people. Insane, heartless, and barbaric. These are the words of Montabeni used to describe what lay before him during his visit to the crime scene Wednesday morning. You could see the way they were moving. They just entered and started shooting. Preliminary investigations have revealed that at least 10 suspects entered the gated informal community at 11:10 p.m. Tuesday after being dropped off at Astra petrol station across the road. Many residents were visibly traumatized, apprehensive about speaking. A woman who asked not to be named told Maverick the gunman weaved through the settlement with purpose, shooting indiscriminately. Pointing to a clearing outside her door, she said, "My next-door neighbor was shot here. He ran and hid in his house. They shot him again." Daily Maverick saw a room near a tavern where some of the bloodshed occurred. The floor was soaked in blood and marked with bloodied, bare footprints. Bullet casings littered the ground of the taped-off maze-like informal settlement. Motive is unknown. The manhunt is underway. 12 dead, 9 wounded in late-night Joburg shooting rampage. It's alleged that more than 10 suspects were dropped off by a white Toyota Quantum near a petrol station in Cleveland. Suspects allegedly entered the informal settlement through both entrances and moved through the air, opening fire on residents and community members at multiple locations before fleeing the scene in the same vehicle. 9 others were rushed with various injuries to the hospital. We thought it was fireworks. Look at the trash out there. People living like pigs. Look at all that trash living next to rubbish. And they wonder why there's disease. An elderly woman from Jumpers Informal Settlement in Cleveland, where 12 people were killed in mass shooting, says she now lives in fear after hiding under her bed when gunfire broke out Tuesday. Upon arrival, police found numerous victims who had sustained gunshot wounds. Preliminary investigation revealed that 12 people died. At least 10 others now, not 9. 10 are taken to the hospital. Gee, many crickets. What is going on in South Africa? Others said an hour. Here, now it was 25 minutes of gunfire. It seemed like an hour, an awful long time for that much gunfire. Look at the sewage running through the streets where these people live. Mud huts are better than that crap. They shot everybody. Residents link Cleveland massacre to illegal mining turf war. Residents claim that heavily armed Zamazamas linked to illegal mining disputes stormed the Jumpers informal settlement in Cleveland, killing 12 people. 3 eyewitnesses who spoke in condition of anonymity to News 24 said the massacre unfolded shortly before midnight. They showed no regard for who they were targeting. Yesterday, we were just sitting around the fire as usual when we heard gunshots. Her brother had just left to buy a cold drink when he was caught in a crossfire. He didn't reach a shot because they shot him. He's one of those who's injured. She said residents were fearful and anxious following the attack. She said, "I don't want to lie, but it's so painful and even our safety, there's no safety anymore." She believed that the violent attack was connected to illegal mining operations. They're fighting over illegal mining. I think they're fighting over the holes they're entering in. I don't know because the fight started over there. Insane. Absolutely insane. This is South Africa is gone, man. The country has collapsed. This is just the latest nonsense that we're seeing. It just never ends. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize in advance for the profanity you're going to hear. This is a South African apparently sending a chilling message to the government of South Africa. It's a long one. Let's listen to this. And this,
brothers and sisters,
expresses the anger of black South Africans.
This is a stern warning to Ramaphosa and the ANC leadership. If you think the atmosphere was more volatile in 1976 than it is now, then you are ignorant. If you think tensions were tangibly thicker in the 1980s than they are now, then you have been living under the rock. Black people are very unhappy and have never been this furious before. They are fed up and can't take any of your crap anymore. What is about to happen will make both the Soweto students' uprising and the 80s mass actions look like a Sunday picnic. It will make the July 2021 lootings feel like a first birthday party. Shit is definitely going to hit the fan. And when it does, both the army and the police won't be able to deal with the situation. The country will literally burn to ashes, and you will be held accountable. And when that happens, your own commandos will defy you and disregard your orders as the commander-in-chief. 32 years is a very long time to tolerate insults and disrespect from you and the ANC. Yours and Fikile Mbalula's recent utterances on illegal immigration can no longer be ignored. Your conduct is not coincidental. It's a pattern. For some bizarre reason, you seem to be underestimating the seriousness of this situation, and that will be your downfall. All foreigners, whether legal or illegal, whether you like it or not, will leave ultimately. And when they do, our marches will be about your removal from the presidency. You, together with your cronies and all the beneficiaries of your captured state, will be cuffed, prosecuted, and incarcerated. You will be duly punished for everything you did. You will feel the pain we have felt under your corrupt regime. As for the ANC, it will die a natural death like cope. It's not a coincidence that all this is happening on the 50th anniversary of June 16. It's a communique from the African gods and a sign from the ancestors. Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, Phakela Mthakathi, and Ngizwe Mchunu are the chosen ones. Should anything happen to them, should they be touched, get arrested, or be assassinated, you will know the full wrath of South Africans. The sun will rise from the west at exactly midnight. We have reached a point of no return. This is the time for black South Africans to achieve their real freedom. Time to complete what Nelson Mandela started in 1994. Time to take back what the ANC voluntarily surrendered to white capitalists and racists. Time to replace the pseudo-emancipation.
That's enough of that, racist. yeah. This is just a racist. Racist clown. But the point is that the threat is very real to the ANC, and they're not catching it. Yep, they're not paying attention. They're not paying attention. Speaking of these clowns, let's just go right to coverage of them. Thousands of MK and March and March supporters walk through Durban streets peacefully. Durban was brought to a standstill Wednesday when about 3,000 MK party members and March loyalists walked from Curry's Fountain Stadium through the city to head over a memorandum of grievances to the Durban municipal officials. The march was led by MK Party Secretary Sabinolo Novamolo and the March movement leader Jacinta Ngobese Zuma. Billed as a stand against service delivery failures, nepotism, corruption, and protests dressed in Zulu traditional regalia and armed with traditional weapons. Why are they armed? With pungas. They chanted. Those are traditional Zulu clothes? I don't think so. That doesn't look like anything traditional to me. Looks like fat boys are wearing polo shirts. That's a Western thing. That's a white people thing. You stole that. Well, folks, bombshell text messages are doing in Major General Firaz Khan, another clown promoted to a rank he should never have held. On January 12, 2021, an alleged tobacco smuggler, Mohammed Mo Saeed, sent a WhatsApp message to SA's crime intelligence boss, Firaz Khan, asking whom he should approach to secure a contract to supply branded face masks to the police. Within an hour, Khan replied he was meeting someone tomorrow night who is the possible guy to make it happen. Minutes later, Syed sent through his price list, and that by that evening, Khan messaged back saying the samples had arrived. In another instance, Syed sent Khan photographs of a warehouse that he proposed leasing to the National Treasury. The exchanges are contained in a sworn affidavit filed by the Mshlanga Commission and released to the public after Khan withdrew his court application to keep the documents secret. Mshlanga Commission, chaired by Acting Deputy Chief Justice Musimbile Mshlanga, was appointed by Ramaphosa to investigate the police corruption. Khan was arrested by South Africa's elite crime-fighting unit at the Hawks at his Houghton home on May 10th. His iPhone 11 and a hard drive were seized during the operation. The 750-page document is linked to summons for Khan, who's currently out on bail. Wow. These people are they are the most vile, repulsive criminals. Wow. Witnesses received threats after testifying in front of the Mshlanga Commission. No surprise there. Surprised they haven't been murdered. Witness 1, a senior narcotics investigator, told Mshlanga Commission he received threatening calls overnight in which he was warned that his seniors were not happy with his testimony. Cocaine weighing more than 700 kgs was found concealed in a shipping container in Johannesburg, and the first officers on the scene were suspected of attempting to steal the drugs. Witness 1, decided to disclose a lengthy stay at alleged underworld kingpin Vusi Musimani's Katmatatla's house after an attempt on his life. Wow. Wow. Yesterday, after my testimony, I received a number of calls warning me that my seniors were not happy with my testimony. They warned me they plan to disclose my stay at the Cat's house to discredit me. Wow. In an additional statement, he said that following an attack on him in September 2023, he lived at the property belonging to the Cat for 2 years. I was inside my house when I heard a loud bang at the gate. I opened the gate. The group of 4 attacked me and hit my head. The metal object resulted in serious head injury. They assaulted me, breaking my left hand with several fingers. They then stole my state-issued firearm and left me for dead. This is just insane. This is a gangster. This is not a country. This is not a country. This is just a gangster operation. It's racketeering at every level. Well, go from corruption and racketeering to simple incompetence and contempt. Contempt for South Africa's farmers. This is what John Steenhuisen and his ministry, his Department of Agriculture, have for South Africa's farmers. Contempt. And they made this patently clear with the idiotic bleachy blonde hire that replaced Ramon Cabanach as chief of staff. Remember Ramon Cabanach, let's see, did he embezzle? No. Did he make some public statement that was embarrassing? No. Did he not show up for work? No. Did he commit a crime? No. Was he fired? Yes. Illegally? Yes. Why? Because John Steenhuisen and the DA are cowards. That's why. But they hire this bleachy blonde who can't, use her brain and thinks that email are, something that's hidden. So she just gets away with saying the most outrageous things. Here she is, Miss Bleachy Blonde herself. Let's get her up on the screen. Yana LaRue. And they keep saying alleged, but there's no alleged because Steenhuisen's admitted the email exists. And we've now seen the email. Stop the alleged nonsense. It's real. It's a fact. Stop claiming that this is alleged. It's real. Here she is, Yana LaRue. She has a good dentist. Yeah, so she sent this email. And this is a scandal from which John Steenhuisen should not survive. Now, people are saying, but what's wrong with you people? Why, Ronaldo's leading the charge. Ronaldo's not leading the charge. Many of us are leading the charge in this because this sort of contempt for people who are suffering, their livelihoods being destroyed because the ineptitude and incompetence and sheer arrogance. Now we see the sheer contempt from the Department of Agriculture towards South Africa's farmers. It's no wonder the agricultural industry is in such a bad shape here. When John Steenhuisen runs off to Vietnam, we've got a stone fruit deal that's going to make us 10,000 rand. Woo! Meanwhile, the foot and mouth disease is eviscerating the cloven hoof industry. Unbelievable. And this idiot sends an email around insulting farmers when they make a genuine communication effort and a plea to the ministry, which has no interest in the farmers whatsoever. That's been demonstrated quite clearly. All they're doing now is covering their ass and making money off of vaccine. That's what's going on now, making money off vaccine. So let's take a look at what this clown did. Foot and mouth comment by Steenhuisen's chief of staff leaves a bad taste. I'm sorry, Daniela Schaafsma. It doesn't leave a bad taste. It's vile and repulsive. A seemingly lighthearted comment from Minister of Agriculture's chief of staff about farmers' foot and mouth disease triggered a serious discussion. Well, it's not a lighthearted comment. What are you talking about? A formal letter from a farmer-led initiative asking for engagement in South Africa's foot and mouth disease was forwarded by Minister of Agriculture John Steenhuisen's chief of staff to senior department officials, referring to it as for some amusement. The email began circulating on social media on the 8th of June, has put Steenhuisen's office on the back foot over its handling of a formal request from a farmer-led initiative seeking engagement on the vaccine strategy. In the email, Jana LaRue, chief of staff to Minister Steenhuisen, forwards a letter from FMD Response South Africa, a collective of farmers and industry stakeholders affected by what they call the FMD response gap, to the Department of Agriculture's Director General and Deputy General on the 3rd of June. Her message accompanying the forward letter read, attached, just received for some amusement. For some amusement. Wow. After LaRue forwarded the letter internally with her amusement comment, FMD responses had become aware of it when the email chain was forwarded back to the organization as part of a response from one of the recipients. That response included an offer to help FMD response members place direct vaccine orders. Morphew's reply drew a clear line. Our aim, as set in our recent letter to the Minister, is a lasting solution that works for every cattle farm in the country. Farmers have a right to know how seriously their concerns are being treated. No further response was received. We did not make this public to embarrass anyone. The farmers have a right to know how seriously their concerns are being treated. It risks being viewed as a posture where engagement with farmers is treated as amusement rather than part of the solution. You cannot bring a disease like this under control if people are leading a response and not take the partnership seriously. Wow. And Steenhuisen's response is the problem. Again, John Steenhuisen didn't write this email, so he's not at fault. Correct. But his arrogant and ridiculous response is what's in play here. I note an email originating from ministry staff member. The email was in bad taste, and I have requested the person concerned to apologize to respective parties. You must continue to show mutual respect and always act in good faith. Well, you're not acting in good faith. You've noted an email. Why don't you identify the person? Why don't you fire her? Why don't you fire her for her conduct? No, you won't, because what's going on there, Johnny boy? What's going on there? You sacrifice your friend Roman Kavanagh because you're a wuss, but you do nothing for this woman to punish her. You ask for an apology? Unacceptable. Agriculture Minister John Steen is under fire after leaked email raised questions about his department's dedication towards private sector engagement. On June 3rd, Jana LaRue, special advisor to the Minister of Agriculture, forwarded an email to the department's Director General and Deputy Director General. Outside the Minister and Deputy Minister, they occupy the most powerful positions in the Department of Agriculture. Attached, just received for some amusement. Well, Andrew Morpheus said, we don't have time to be offended. There's a disease to beat, and this is where attention is. Yeah, well, we are offended for you. SAPS and cancer government doesn't know how many illegal firearms out there in these gangs walk. Yeah, exactly, Mike. That's true. Yep. No, we will be offended for you in the farming community. I've requested the person to apologize. You've requested an apology. How about a sacking? I note an email originating from ministry staff member. You call for mutual respect. No, mutual respect. You mocked Sakalika. You mocked their court case in front of reporters. And now your staff mocks farmers. You're just frauds. You're just frauds who are just collecting paychecks. You're not there to help the farmers. You're there to pad your pocket, take care of your Uber Eats bill, buddy. So this is his response. I wrote, time to look for another job. And this one I like. DA, attached, just received for some amusement. I think checking out the Freedom Front Plus and his girlfriend's not happy. That's a good one. Yeah, you're fired, Roman Kavanagh, for less. At least he didn't belittle, insult, or attack the very people your department's supposed to look after. If your chief of staff is this brazen on emails, then I don't even want to know what you discussed in your internal caucus. Yep. If this is the type of comments that leak from your department, it adds weight to the rumors of how department insiders speak of farmers with contempt behind closed doors. Pookie says, resign, you fake, a disgrace. Sideliner opinions, you fired Kaepernick for doing nothing wrong. You have a right to fire her, but you don't. Why? And here's where he just remember this?
Well, they're going to get their vaccine.
They are saying your deadline is tomorrow.
If they go to court, they're going to delay it by another month.
Okay.
Well, they're going to get...
Look at that condescending, arrogant asshattery from him. Wow. And Cape of Good Oak says, I note an email. Bro, you didn't note it. You got caught with your chief of staff treating desperate farmers, please, about the worst foot and mouth disease outbreak and living right like it was a comedy hour. You're a disgrace, John. The sooner you resign, the better for everyone. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. And they are just ANC. They behave in the exact same way as the African National Congress. The contempt for the people of South Africa. And this is why black people are upset. This is why white people are upset. Roland Skuman says, you fired others for less. If this conduct warrants an apology, then many previous dismissals deserve a second look. Rules either apply equally or they don't. 100%. Robert Pingle says, well, Steenhuisen, has Bimbo Barbie working for him? How did he recruit her? What were her strong points apart from sitting on his lap and dictating his notes? He's a lapdog for my ANC, which means that she's probably involved as well. Snake in the grass. And worth emphasizing, Yana LaRue's disgusting email was sent with total impunity to none other than the very top government officials in the South African Department of Agriculture. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bimbo Barbie working for him. That's what Robert Pringle says. My goodness. Leaked email. Sparks farmer outrage. Wow. Then he later said the email was in bad taste. I request the person concerned apologize to respective parties. Yeah, right. He's been silent since then. But here, ladies and gentlemen, his response. Here's the actual email. A lengthy email written in good faith by Morphew, asking to work on things. This is the actual email. And that was treated this way with contempt by Yana LaRue for some amusement. Wow. So competent people like Emma Powell and Andrew Whitfield are consigned to the dustbin of history in this corrupt party of the Democratic Alliance, while Johnny Steenhuisen hires Bimbo Barbie, as someone called her. I don't know her. Anyway, wow. Where is the Democratic Alliance federal executive on this? Will they say, well, it's not our issue. It's just internal to the Department of Agriculture. Yeah, but at some point, the embarrassment that is John Steenhuisen really is something you have to cut loose. Look, he's already an ANC cater. You might as well just let him go over and put the ANC colors on. You know, get rid of the dead weight of John Steenhuisen, and I'll bet you the DA picks up 2 percentage points in the election from that alone. From that alone. James J. makes a very poignant comment here. He won't fire her because he's created that culture, and dismissing her might open the truth by her testimony in the public forum. Indeed. Indeed. Oh, he's beyond arrogant. You have no idea. I've interacted with him personally. He's rude, disrespectful, condescending, arrogant, and a total asshat. I've interacted with him personally and had the audacity to contact me. And we'll leave it at that. Okay. More to come. Yeah, dead weight. Exactly. Well, it's a lot. It's a huge dead weight there, Charles. Julius Malema's defamation case against Kenny Kanane has collapsed before it even started. An administrative blunder by EFF leader Julius Malema's legal team has handed PA's Kenny Kanane an early courtroom victory. Following the striking of Malema's $1 million defamation case against PA leader, Deputy President Kenny Kanane, the series of allegations against the EFF leader remain unresolved. The assertions include late-night visits to a secluded farm, the receipt of $80,000 cash payment inside a Louis Vuitton bag, and an unusually close relationship with an alleged taxi cartel kingpin. Malema's lawyers failed to upload certain documents to the case's online system by the April deadline, just following the Monday night, hours before the hearing. Judge Leonard Twala struck the matter from roll and ruled that Malema must pay the cost of Kanane's legal team. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Convicted criminal Julius Malema is still sitting in the Judicial Service Commission and sitting in Parliament drawing a salary when he should be in prison, is filing lawsuits against everybody who exposes him. Johannesburg is spending only 49% of his capital budget on infrastructure. What's going on? What's going on? Mayor Dada Moreira tells MPs more will be spent as budgets are reallocated, projects come on steam. But of course, this is the same mayor who told us yesterday that the city has lost 10 billion rand in lost water, electricity payments, and its housing entity. 10 billion rand. Johannesburg is a cesspool of corruption and incompetence. And this is the poison chalice that Helen Zille hopes to take over. Well, I wish her the very best. You got to have nothing but respect for somebody that's crazy enough to take on that disaster when she won't have an outright majority, which means she won't actually be able to rule the town. The AmaZulu King accepts the DA's approach despite its deeply insulting cultural faux pas. Once again, the Democratic Alliance expressing their inability to understand culture and strategic communications has screwed the pooch. Now get that picture in your mind, the DA screwing the pooch. AmaZulu King gives the DA green light to campaign despite the ox gift faux pas. Wow. King Mzulu KwaZulu-Natal has given the DA his blessing to campaign in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm sorry. Excuse me. We need the King's blessing to campaign in South Africa. No, sorry. You don't need the King's blessing. You might have the King's endorsement, but his blessing, screw that. You don't need his blessing. He's not a ruler. He doesn't have legal authority or sovereignty over KZN. What a joke. First off, the Zulu Empire didn't even encompass all of what is KZN. So it's arrogant to begin with. Second off, who is this? The Zulu King. Give me a freaking break. It's Alex. You don't need his blessing to campaign. It's South Africa. The visit was not without a cultural misstep as the DA delegation presented an ox instead of a cow, considered inhamba or an insult. So they insulted the Zulus by bringing them an ox, not a cow. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, come on, folks, the Democratic Alliance. Get out of your little liberal, echo chambers, living in your Santon palaces and your Western Cape palaces. Get out on the ground for some time other than 9 days before an election and do some real campaigning. I mean, the only people you ever have that actually did a real campaign on the ground were people you've marginalized and people who are successful. People who are leaving the party or at least leaving politics like Chris Pappas. Unbelievable. Wow. The DA delegation led by party leader Jordan Hill Lewis presented the King with 2 mixed breed Brahmin cattle, a cow and what was a faux pas, an ox. Oops. Jordan Hill Lewis has given the Zulu King an ox. We begin our blue wave in KwaZulu-Natal with a cultural faux pas. We're giving them an ox. Yeah. Because we're too stupid to have Zulu in our party. And we're too lazy to even ask Chris Pappas what the right answer would be. Nope. We'll just be arrogant from the DA headquarters. ANC, DA, same thing. And we will go and give them an ox. Because in our culture, oxen got us across the Drakensberg to confront the Zulu. So we'll give them an ox. Oh my goodness. Dean McPherson was also present. No wonder it's so screwed up. Did his boyfriend come? The blunder, considered an insult in Zulu culture, drew the ire of the monarch and led to the delegation being admonished by members of the royal family as it was not allowed. Look at them pretending to be culturally accustomed. King Mzulu warmly and repeatedly referred to Hill Lewis as my president. Wow. We know historically, even during the times of the late king, before I sat on the throne, the DA for this very purpose has always come to the royal family and to the king. Here's our new leadership, your majesty, and the royal family, and also to mention that we are here to work with you and the king for the people of the king and do the service duty for the support of the king. Oh, please. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. There they are. There's the cattle. In Zulu custom, an ox is considered offensive because having been castrated, it cannot breed, unlike a bull, and thus is seen as adding no value to the king's kraal. They apologized profusely. We did apologize. We didn't know, and we think this is something we should have been told by the protocol office, but we will correct it. We are now making arrangements to be changed. In Saminga, the black guy didn't know that this was an insult. So once again, proving that South Africa's blacks are not monolithic. This black guy had no idea it was an insult to the Zulu. Why? Because he's not a Zulu. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The National Press Club condemns alleged threats against Yusuf Abramji. Now they're threatening this guy. Discussions about how to intimidate reporter after article on tax evasion and legal cigarette industry. National Press Club has spoken out against alleged threats, intimidation aimed at award-winning journalist Yusuf Abramji. News 24 reported that evidence presented to the Mshlanga Commission revealed that text messages from 2021 between the deputy head of crime intelligence, Feroz Khan, and Carnage Industries, Mohammed Syed, reportedly discussed ways to intimidate Abramji after he wrote an article about tax evasion in the illegal cigarette industry. Well, that doesn't surprise me. There's more crime. Yusuf Abramji, a target of that. Doesn't surprise me. South Africa's Tiger Wheel and Tire has been sold to foreigners. The Japanese now own it. South Africa's tire and battery retailers, Tire, Wheel, and Tires and More have been sold to major Japanese investment firm Marubeni Corporation. Did they have to give up 30% of the equity? The business is to franchise at annual sales of $4.5 billion and operate 160 outlets in South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. And I've been to their stores. Yep. T-Auto, founded in 1967, bought by its current owners from Ethos Private Equity in 2004 at the time and had 104 stores. The 168-year-old Tokyo-based group has investments in multiple sectors, including lifestyle, food, agriculture, minerals, and mineral resources, chemicals, infrastructure, and mobility. Well, there you go. So now Tiger, it belongs to foreigners. Another South African asset sold off to foreign nationals. Hungry Lion will add 750 stores as demand for chicken increases as beef prices skyrocket. Yes. Chicken chain Hungry Lion plans to open 200 stores across South Africa and in the rest of the continent this year alone. CEO Adrian Basson said the group's plans to open a further 250 in 2027, 300 in 2028. They employ 11,000 people, almost all of them in South Africa. Wow. Wow. Hungry Lion. Hungry Lion. Well, Gwede Mantashe strikes back. I did a short on this yesterday. Gwede Mantashe strikes back about, what about Zuma Malema? Playing whataboutism. Ooh, look at that. It looks like Gwede blew a tire. Look at that. He blew a tire, man. ANC National Chair Gwede Mantashe has rebuked opposition parties for what he described as selective outrage and playing to the gallery in the pursuit of impeachment of President Ramaphosa. During Tuesday's National Assembly plenary, MK Party Wesley Douglas launched an attack. The ANC-led parliament shielded him. Instead of scrutiny, he received corrupt political cover, Douglas said. But then Gwede said, whoa, 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 whoa. What about Julius Malema? What about Jacob Zuma? Well, the ANC gave protection to Zuma while he was in the ANC. They covered up his crimes, alleged crimes. So whatever. Gwede Mantashe, be quiet. The floods in the Western Cape recently reportedly cost 9 billion rand in damage. $500 million. The cost of widespread flooding across Western Cape in May has reached a price tag of $9 billion, revealed by the Western Cape Department of Local Government during a briefing to the Standing Committee on Local Government, Environmental Affairs, and Development. Wow. That's crazy. That is some serious damage there. Well, the surge in imports of A3 paper, despite the fact that the world's largest paper producer is based in South Africa, SAPI, is being probed. Why are we importing A3 paper into South Africa? International Trade Administration Commission of South Africa is investigating possible remedial action to protect local paper producers. Paper and packaging heavyweight Mondi South Africa presented evidence of a surge in imports and its detrimental effect on the local industry. Interesting. What's going on there? The Mondi Group, headquartered in the UK, has its primary listing on the London Exchange, spun out of Anglo American back in 2007. It leases or owns 253,000 hectares of land for plantation forestry in KZN and Mpumalanga, and is an uncoated paper mill in Richards Bay. So what about Sapi? There's no mention of Sapi here, the world's largest paper manufacturer. BBEE compliance costs companies a lot with no benefits. Duh, that's a shocking revelation, not. South African firms of various size and ownership regard compliance with broad-based black economic empowerment as too costly for the business with no discernible benefit to justify the cost. This is according to two firms, the XA Global Trade Advisors and Codera Analytics. Well, thank you for the obvious. We're well aware of that. Well, another discovery of oil off the coast of Namibia makes a promising find. Gutter Energy recently disclosed the discovery of an additional offshore oil deposit within Namibia's Orange Basin, further establishing the Southern African country as a premier global destination for oil exploration. The Merlin 1X well, part of Petroleum Exploration Lease 39, revealed promising geological data, including light crude oil and high-quality reservoirs. Well, that's promising. Promising for Namibia. Good stuff right there. The U.S. is moving to block access for 7 African countries following comprehensive global forced labor under Section 301, and that includes Algeria, Angola, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa. 12.5% tariffs being proposed. Gulf Arab nations condemn Iran's new attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait. Foreign ministers of Arab states in the Persian Gulf met today to condemn a new round of Iranian attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait. Persistence in this aggressive approach will only lead to further isolation. The Somali World Cup referee who was denied entry to the U.S. returns home to a hero's welcome. Omar Abdul Qadir Artan, widely admired in his home country, would have been the first Somali to referee a World Cup game. Not anymore. Not anymore. Mr. Artan, one of 52 officials, 7 of them Africans, selected by FIFA International Soccer governing body to referee the tournament. The Confederation of African Football, the African Soccer Federation, named Mr. Artan the continent's top referee last year, and he would have been the first Somali to take charge of a World Cup game. But on arrival in Miami on Saturday, he was taken aside for questioning by U.S. officials, put back on a plane, and sent home. U.S. border authorities said in an email that the decision was made over vetting concerns, but did not provide further details. Top soccer officials and former players, as well as prominent demon rats, including Hillary Clinton, have criticized the decision. So, why was he sent home? Why was he sent home? Thank you, Case Garden. Well, here's more news on that story. A United States official who spoke on a condition of anonymity said Tuesday night the Somalian soccer refugee Omar Artan was denied entry into the country, was refused admission due to his association with suspected members of terrorist organizations. He was denied entry at Miami International Airport on Saturday over vetting concerns. Issued a visa to travel to the U.S. last week, according to the Somali embassy in Kenya. Artan told the New York Times he was interviewed at the Miami airport for 11 hours by border officials who asked him why he traveled to the U.S. and questioned him about Somali politics and al-Shabaab militant group. He showed them FIFA documentation and photos from his refereeing career. After the questioning, he was put in a holding cell and sent back on a plane to Istanbul, where he'd taken his connecting flight. I think they have a problem with my country, he said, adding that he had the correct documents and visa. He said he wasn't told why he was refused entry. Well, it's not a question of having a problem with your country, buddy. It's that you cannot enter the country if you're a threat to this nation. And they found terror ties. So, I'll choose to believe Customs and Border Protection before I believe this guy. Hong Kong has charged 7 people and 2 companies over the deadly apartment fire that took place in 2025. 168 people died in that fire. The Wang Fuk Court apartment complex in November was the worst Hong Kong fire in generations. Dozens of offenses, including manslaughter. Senior Russian military officials killed in an assassination near Moscow. Death of the officer appeared to be a string of target assassinations of high-profile opponents of Ukraine inside Russia. Wow. Look at this high-profile official. Look, he's riding some little mini car, nothing special. A senior military officer died on Tuesday after the car he was driving exploded near a residential building outside of Moscow. They have not identified who it was. The stabbing suspect appears in Belfast court after an anti-immigrant protest in Northern Ireland. Look at this. Vehicles set ablaze on Ledrick Street. 30-year-old man from Sudan appeared in Belfast court today, charged with attempted murder of a stabbing attack left a man seriously injured and triggered anti-immigrant violence. Hadi Al-Odid was held in jail after an appearance by video in Belfast Magistrates Court. He refused representation through an Arabic interpreter and did not enter a plea. He's been in Ireland for 2 years and doesn't speak English. Enough of this bullshit. These people don't belong there. You've been there 2 years, you can't learn English? I'm sorry. I learned frickin' German in 3 months. Give me a break. A new wave of anti-immigrant violence hits the UK as riots convulse Belfast. And that's a picture of the same street there. People's cars go up in flames. Wow. Ignoring police for calm from politicians and clergy, rioters rampage through heavily immigrant neighborhoods in Belfast, the capital of Northern Ireland. It's all on like Donkey Kong there. Why has Belfast erupted in anti-immigrant violence after a knife attack? Maybe, Al Jazeera, because you're calling it a knife attack. It was an attempted beheading. Ministers blame far-right online agitators for stoking racial tension following the stabbing. It didn't take far-right agitators to stoke anything. People are angry. Angry. A night of violence grips in Northern Ireland after a stabbing attack. Well, yeah, of course it does. Hang on a second here. I gotta look for something. Cars and a bus were set on fire and families were driven from their homes as the stabbing attack caused tension to spill into the streets. Belfast. Firefighters and emergency responders escorted immigrant families to their homes that had been set alight in Belfast on Tuesday night as burning cars blazed in the street. Unrest comes after authorities charged Hadi Aloidi with attempted murder in the stabbing attack Monday night. Wow. Mexico has suspended certain live animal imports from U.S. over flesh-eating screwworm concerns. This is ironic. South Africa has foot and mouth disease, and we have one calf infected with screwworm, and suddenly we can't ship our beef to Mexico. Turnabout's fair play here in the United States. This is embarrassing for our agricultural sector. The decision was made in coordination with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, who agreed with it. Yep, Mexico said yesterday it would temporarily suspend imports of certain live animals from the United States following the detection of multiple cases of the flesh-eating New World screwworm in Texas and New Mexico. Health authorities in both countries, including USDA's Animal Plant Health Inspection Services, agreed to strengthen health inspections of imported pet dogs at Mexico's points of entry and assess additional measures to verify their health status. Are the dogs carriers of the screwworm? Maybe that's why. I didn't know that. President Trump says Iran will pay the price for slow walking their peace deal. Oh, my goodness. Iran's military is a complete mess and total mess, he wrote. They've taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them, and now they'll have to pay the price. It's going to get ugly, man. It's going to get ugly very quickly. Iran will have to pay the price. Iran's Revolutionary Guard attacks U.S. assets in the region in response to military strikes in southern Iran as the peace process stares down the latest challenge. Well, the ceasefire is over, folks. Whether they realize or not, it's over. Nancy Mace, a thoroughly disgusting, repulsive congresswoman from South Carolina, has been shellacked in her effort to run for governor. This turncoat, say what I have to say to get elected, bogus, buffoon, idiot, Nancy Mace is now going to be bounced out on her ear. She is a vile, repulsive, reptile creature from D.C. And here she came in 5th place with just 12% of the vote, getting slammed by Pamela Yvette and Alan Wilson, who will move on to the runoff for governor. She's done. Done. Nancy Mace. Get her out of Congress, too. She's a fool. She's always been a fool. Arrogant asshat. Inflation jumps to its highest level in 3 years, which would be one of the lowest points it was ever under the Biden regime at 4.3. Yeah, see, we finally reached inflation that matches Joe Biden. This is after months of this uncertainty for the war. We've reached inflation that matches Joe Biden's level of inflation, 4.2%. That's the real story there. U.S. inflation surges. I wouldn't say it surges. It went up from 3.9 to 4.2. That's not a surge. Columbia, Maryland. Oh, I know that gas station. Royal Farms. I know that gas station, Columbia, Maryland. President Trump's ICE funding will go through the end of his presidency. All this effort to shut down the government. Remember that? Remember the government being shut down, folks? Well, the government was shut down for 6 weeks, causing undue pain for tens of millions of people. And now they've passed it. The $70 billion immigration enforcement measure passed 214 to 212 over the fierce objections of demon rats who unanimously voted against the package because they hate America. Tuesday's vote was a major victory for House Speaker Mike Johnson. Yep. By funding it for 3 years, we've taken away their ability to cut the funding or take hostage the funding of the remainder of the Trump administration. Trump will now sign it. Yep. Why don't you pass the SAVE Act in the Senate? Well, yep, so they tried. Nippon Steel will double its investments in the U.S. Pennsylvania steel facility. Initially, we were going to put $1 billion. Now it's $2.5 billion. The investment is projected to generate $1.7 billion economic impact for the Commonwealth through 2028, including 6,381 jobs and estimated $58 million in state and local taxes. The modernization of the U.S. Steel's Mon Valley Works Edgar Thompson plant in Braddock, Pennsylvania, includes construction of a new hot strip mill to replace the 87-year-old mill at Irvin plant, which is to be decommissioned. There will also be improvements elsewhere. Wow, big investment in Pennsylvania. Thank you for that. A judge has granted preliminary relief in a Visa MasterCard $38 billion swipe fee settlement. He called the revised score fair, reasonable, and adequate, though major retail groups plan further challenges over the fees charged at the point of sale. Settlement covers more than 12 million merchants. The settlement, which Visa announced in November, would resolve claims stemming from litigation that began in 2005 and accused Visa, MasterCard, and banks of conspiring to violate U.S. antitrust laws through the collection of swipe fees, also known as interchange fees. As part of the agreement, swipe fees are set to drop by 0.1% over a 5-year period. Well, that's not much. That's not much. Bill Gates said he's glad to testify about the Epstein thing. All you people that are obsessing about Epstein, we're back in the news with Epstein. Here's Epstein's story again. Bill Gates says he is up for it. All right, folks, we're going to have to wrap up here. Let me see what I've got left. I got 3 stories left. I'll get those very quickly. Bill Gates is happy to testify. Yeah. The Customs and Border Patrol chief says the border wall will be finished by late 2027. Excellent. Before Trump leaves office, the entire border wall. Long overdue. President Trump and Stephen Smith have traded jabs over the Knicks game. Smith saying Trump shouldn't be at the game. Well, he didn't say that about Barack Obama. He says his opinion wouldn't have changed if it was Barack Obama, but you didn't say squat when Obama was there. Trump officials laid out the aggressive timeline to build this arch. The 320-foot crane may be used to build the arch, which will be in D.C., actually Northern Virginia, overlooking D.C. and the Potomac River. The 250-foot triumphal arch could be finished by the end of President Trump's presidency. That's pretty ambitious. And that's going to do it for today's news, folks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done that already. Would appreciate you doing that. And, we will take you in just a moment over to Ronaldo's channel, and hopefully some of you will join us there. And we'll discuss things. I'm sure we'll be talking about John Steenhuisen. I'm sure we'll be talking about John Steenhuisen. No doubt about that. 10 June. Today's 10 June already. Wow, it's amazing how the time passes. Right. All right. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. How are we doing on likes? We got 372 likes. Why is the big audience today? Thank you all for coming. Because of the Carnage, I covered that story. Sorry I missed your chat. I'm sure there are lots of things you had to say in the chat, but that's the news today. I had to start the news a bit late because my eyes were bothering me. I couldn't see. I woke up this morning. It took 35 minutes before my vision cleared. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully I'm not getting cataracts. Anyway, thank you all so much. Cheers. We'll see you on Ronaldo's program in just a couple minutes.